Oh, the car from Carvana's here. Well, will you look at that? It's exactly what I ordered. Like, precisely. It would be crazy if there were any catches. But there aren't, right?
Right. Because that's how car buying should be. With Carvana, you get the car you want. Choose delivery or pickup, and a week to love it or return it.
Buy your car today with
Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Dak's got moves on the turf. Jerry's grip tightens with a smirk. Backstreet's playing on repeat. Conflict rising in the heat. Dak and Jerry on different pages, just like the grunge and rave stages. Can't agree, can't get along. 1990s in a song. Crystal Pepsi love is weird. Jerry's whispers in the ear. Tony Hawk, wild tricks. Dak's defiance in the mix. Gen X rebellion in the air. Jerry's crew cut quite a scare. Seinfeld's jokes on at 9. Dak's looking for a sign. Dak and Jerry on different pages, just like the grunge and rave stages. Can't agree, can't get along. 1990s in a song. 1990s in a song. 1990s in a song.
Hello, welcome into another episode of the One Star Cowboys podcast. I'm Kevin Turner with my friends from over here at The Athletic, John Machota, Saad Youssef, and Kent Garrison. On today's episode, a lot to get to, and we will start with the Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott game of chicken. And we had big developments last week. We got the signing of CeeDee Lamb done, and then Jerry's got some media availability out at the Cowboys practices out at the Star. He makes some comments. Then Dak has to talk to the media the next day. John Machota, you were all over it as always. Man, your thoughts on this wild ordeal over the week?
Yeah, I don't think that anything Jerry has said recently is any different or much different than what we've heard from him really since even before training camp started. But Dak, with every day that goes by and every week that goes by, he gets more spicier. And I thought that that was the spiciest that we've seen Dak, especially when it comes to the whole, if a contract isn't done by the start of the season. That part right there, the way he responded to all of that, that's not like, it just, Dak's going to another level of where he's clearly at a point where he's fine if it doesn't get done before the season, because he knows that if he's not playing quarterback for the Cowboys next season, he's probably the NFL's highest paid player somewhere else. And it seems like Jerry's willing to take that risk too, because I just do not think that this thing gets done before the season starts. And if it doesn't get done before the season starts, I don't really see why you would get it done during the season. If he's playing very well during the season, I don't think that Jerry's going to want to mess with anything. Also, Jerry being a person that doesn't really get many contracts done during the season. And then the other part of it is if they're playing very poorly, I don't see where, let's say they start out, 3-4 losses in the first 5 or 6 weeks, and all of a sudden now they're going to give Dak Prescott a new contract. I don't see where that would come into play either. So I think where we're heading, I don't think it gets done before the season starts. So I think where we're heading is that they'll see how the season unfolds and then kind of reconvene in the offseason. And obviously that runs a high risk of Dak Prescott not being on the Cowboys if it gets to that level.
Do you think Brock Purdy puts any pressure on Jerry? The thought of that deal getting done and setting the number even higher. Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy by most accounts, other than the Super Bowl appearance and things like that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if Jerry thinks that he might be smarter than the rest of the NFL and that everyone's paying all these quarterbacks. Well, I'm not going to do that. And that could be a huge disaster, obviously, if he doesn't. So when I say that, I mean that he could see anybody else signing a new contract and him being like, yeah, I get it. That raises the bar for the position, but I'm not paying that to a franchise quarterback right now. Not if we're not going any further in the playoffs, then I'm ready to go in another direction. And believe me, hey, we've talked about this many a times. That opens up the possibility of really the years the Cowboys had between Troy Aikman and Tony Romo. And that's very bad. That you do not want to be there. And that's the risk that you run if you don't get something done with Dak Prescott. And I think that would be very bad for even Jerry Jones, who, let's be honest, yes, he wants to win a Super Bowl, but he loves his team being relevant. And if you fall into the quarterback abyss, it's tough to make your team relevant.
Yeah, I think one thing that also stood out to me from that whole exchange with the Jerry Dak stuff is just how much looser Dak is. I know John's talked about that before. Like we've mentioned that it's a lot. And I don't think that he's loose in a reckless way. I feel like he's more calculated. I've always felt he's calculated. Since he got into the league in 2016, I've always felt he is measured with his words, at least in front of the camera and the microphone. He kind of understands that. And, the best example to me from that entire interaction was when he was asked if he would like for the deal to get done before the season, because at that point, 2019 Dak, 2018 Dak just says, yeah, of course. And everybody just moves on. And 2024 Dak goes the whole quote about well, if it's not done, it'll show how people feel and things like that. That's a comment that Dak is making now, but I don't think he makes before. So I think that's interesting. I think he understands the leverage that he has here. And it's not just about the fact that, he's the franchise quarterback, and I think he understands what the market is going to be and how much the Cowboys need him more than he really needs the Cowboys. And because like John said, if he's not the highest paid quarterback in Dallas, he'll be the highest paid quarterback in league history somewhere else. So I think all of that kind of plays into why Dak is kind of having this more looser personality right now.
You know what I think is kind of interesting though about that, when you say the whole that the Cowboys needing Dak more than Dak needs the Cowboys. I agree with that. I wonder though, as spicy as Dak has been, I still think that he would prefer to stay with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's not just because of the Cowboys brand. That's obviously a huge part of it. But, you have your family here. I think, he grew up a Cowboys fan. There's levels to all of that. Plus the fact that you can make a lot of money being the Cowboys quarterback, even if you're not winning Super Bowls. But then the other part is, I do believe there'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 teams that are interested in him. But I also wonder, as critical as people are of the Cowboys, will those 6, 8, 10 teams give him a better situation to win than the Cowboys? I think there's a chance that 1 or 2 might, but you also got to remember that team is going to be paying that quarterback 60, 65 million. And so that factors in as well. And so, I think this though as well, when I tie all that in, I think of, even though the other team might not be as good as the Cowboys that he signs with, this season could unfold in a way where he's just gets spicier, just gets angrier, and is just fine to go somewhere else and be like, okay, you guys thought I was the problem. That's fine. I'm going to show you that I wasn't the problem, and when I say that, I mean, it could be his play with the other team and it could be the play of the Cowboys without him.
Man, and it's to any NFL quarterback probably out there, it's way cooler to be the guy that took the Cowboys over the hump than to be the guy that took the Washington franchise or the Vikings over the hump.
Anybody else?
It's way cooler.
I would take it even further than the Cowboys. I would say if you could be that one player to take, or I'm sorry, I'll take it farther than the NFL. If you be that one player to take a team to a championship, I don't think that there's a bigger one than being the Cowboys quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Not Lakers, not Yankees.
That's the one.
There isn't one. When it's 28, 29 years, you're going on 30 years now. It's approaching 30 years without being in an NFC championship game, almost 30 years without a Super Bowl, of a team that is valued over $10 billion. Probably if it went on the open market, Jerry could get $15, $20 billion for that team. To be the one that is the face of it, the franchise quarterback of it, I can't think of a position that you'd rather be in sports than be that player.
I'm sure there will be more to say about this in the coming episodes, as we will have more for you. We're going to have our season preview episode later this week. We're going to have our Cleveland Browns preview, getting ready for that game later this week here on the One Star Cowboys podcast. We do want to remind you we have a Discord set up. Want to go in there and chat? You can. We'll take some questions and discuss those on the podcast. But I think this takes us to a good time to transition to something we've kind of had planned for a while. This is the Cowboys offseason timeline. How have we got here? What has happened? And it seems like a long time ago, and it wasn't really. It's just the normal NFL offseason, but the Cowboys are just more interesting than any other team. We're so fortunate to cover the Cowboys, I think. January 14th, 2024, Packers 48, Cowboys 32. 3 days later, on January 17th, Jerry Jones releases a statement on DallasCowboys.com. Think about that. The owner releases a statement on the team website saying, I believe this team is very close and capable of achieving our ultimate goals, and the best step forward for us will be with Mike McCarthy as our head coach. There's a great benefit.
Was 3 days?
3 days. He let the media salivate over that for 3 days, and fans go, what's going to happen?
Well, no,
What's gonna happen? 3 days.
I'm saying that felt, for me as a reporter, that felt like it was like 2 weeks.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Well,
after the game. Wow.
This is why I like doing like off-season timeline review type things, because you just go, wait, that happened? I don't remember that happened. That's weird.
Dude, and it's because, like, when I say that from a reporter standpoint, I'm telling you, like, I kind of got that feeling that, like, when we came back from Oxnard to Dallas when the CD deal was pending, it's like, I'm not joking, like, my showers are quicker. I just don't want to miss, like, when that's, and so, like, when the McCarthy thing was happening after, it was just, like, every second, I'm just, like, waiting for that decision to come down. So, like, that 3 days felt like 2 weeks for sure.
What was the boiling point where he had to release a statement? When it gets to the point where Jerry has to release a written statement on most things, it's because it's gotten to a critical mass point. What was that with McCarthy?
I'm glad you asked, Kent, because I think I know the answer to this, and it does actually go to where we're going here. The loss is the boiling point, and looking that bad in a playoff game. But that statement was made one day before Mike McCarthy's exit press conference on January 18th, which is kind of where I'm going. Mike McCarthy at that press conference, do you guys remember what he said? He told everyone to, quote, buy into us. And Cowboys fans at the time were not looking to buy into them. Okay, now Jerry and Steven will tell you that the season ticket's faster than ever. But I think Jerry put that statement out knowing that Mike McCarthy had to face the media the next day. That's what I think. Granted, just because it's a Jerry Jones statement on the website, it doesn't mean Jerry wrote it. I mean, we don't have to. We assume that, I guess, but there's a team and everything. That's just me. Let's go to the 21st, January 21st, 2024. Again, we're 1 week after the playoff loss, so still feeling everything. Micah has to clear up his brother Terrence's tweets because Terrence tweeted out, I can't wait because y'all are really clueless out here. The greatest crimes to this man is being done by his own organization. Y'all going to miss him when he's gone. Micah had to tweet out that anything Terrence says is Terrence's opinion and Terrence is alone. January was insane, guys.
I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of par for the course, I feel like, with social media nowadays, you know?
Yeah, wasn't CD's mom, was that before Micah's brother or after? I don't know.
That
but it
snuck
was
into
around
February, and we'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that that's a social media thing that, you know, people are going to defend. You know, Dak's brothers obviously defended Dak a ton of times on social media and that.
Sure.
So it's tough for me to say that it happens with every other team to this level, but it's also, you know, I don't know that it hits the same way if the brother of a player on another team says it is as much as it is if it's anything that comes from a family member that involves Dak, CD, or Micah.
Yeah. No, for sure. January 27th. Eagles hire Vic Fangio as their new defensive coordinator. January 28th, Tony Romo meets with Taylor Swift after the Chiefs win the AFC Championship over the Ravens. Just think about the Cowboys fans here.
Wait, what?
I mean,
Met with?
Well, I remember on the field,
Oh,
Tony
okay.
Romo and Taylor Swift. He
Don't
said he
remember
loves
this
her
at all.
work. January 30th, this Senior Bowl time, Jerry Jones repeats his backing of Mike McCarthy because the statement just wasn't enough, saying that This is one of John's favorite quotes, and it's why I put it in here. Saying that Mike McCarthy has them, quote, hanging around the rim. And he also reiterates that they are all in.
Let's go back to this Taylor Swift thing. No, sorry. Let's delve a little bit more deeper into this Taylor Swift thing that you brought up here. It's had such an impact on the team this year.
She's drawing up plays for the Chiefs, John.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good reaction to that.
Anyway, the hanging around the rim thing is it's a bit nauseating. We'll say that. It looks like they look for some type of a phrase in the offseason to try and figure out how they can explain being a 12-win team 3 years in a row, yet falling short in the playoffs year after year after year. And so that's what they came up with. So it's fine. I feel like I've heard it a little too much.
Well, let's move into February here. February 1st, Dan Quinn accepts the job as head coach of the Washington Commanders. Then the interviews start. Mike Zimmer, Ron Rivera. You guys probably you probably remember the Joe Witt Jr. saga for a few days there. Then February 4th, the Commanders hire Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. February 5th, the Eagles hire Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. Those are things that I kind of forgot about as the summer went on, and then you really get your head on and start thinking, like, oh yeah, the Eagles they added Saquon Barkley, and they added Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, who, for whatever it's worth, famous coordinators. Yeah.
You got
Coordinators
the 2018
the
All-Star
names of.
team in Philly right now.
Blueprint guy, remember the Blueprint? Remember that year? I mean,
yeah,
it's all very fascinating to me. I mean, this is, I'd say a lot of people are, and it was all training camp attendance is low and whatever that story was, whether it's true or not. This summer went on, like apathy. We talk about apathy, and then by the time you get here, it's like, man, this is the most fascinating season of Cowboys football ever. And it kind of is. We've always been interested in Cliff Kingsbury for reasons. We just always have. And like, he's in the division. Dan Quinn. The Giants are boring as shit, but like, that's a whole other thing. But for the Commanders and Eagles to do what they've done, I mean, I don't know. This is it's interesting.
But do you think any of that impacts the Cowboys more than Taylor Swift talking to Tony Romo after the Super Bowl?
No, I think the Romo Taylor thing is what
the implications.
Really,
all right, just checking. Continue.
February 8th, Cowboys hire Mike Zimmer as defensive coordinator. Which Mike Zimmer was like looking for a job, I guess, right? Because otherwise, or is this like the only job he would have taken? Or do you think he would have gone somewhere else if the Cowboys didn't come calling?
He might have, but I think he really was attracted to this job. I look back on that time when they hired him, and I know, like as you mentioned, there were other candidates, but now seeing how things have unfolded, I mean, I can obviously be wrong on this, but I feel very strongly this is very similar to the Dan Quinn hire. Like, it's a smart hire. I think it's going to have good return on investment. And like the Dan Quinn hire, I'd say it's probably the most real of the realistic options. I think it's the best hire that they could have made to take over as DC, with all things considered, coaching staff in a final year of their deals, the talent they have on defense. It's an experienced defense, because even a guy like Micah Parsons, I mean, like he was saying, I saw in a video clip not too long ago where it's like, he can't believe how fast 3 years have gone by. Like he's got a lot of experience by NFL standards. And so I think hiring Mike Zimmer was no question the right move there.
February 8th, Darren Woodson misses out on the Pro Football Hall of Fame once again. February 9, Seahawks hire Aiden Durde as defensive coordinator. Which I was kind of, I don't know, he was never talked about. Was he talked about when we were interviewing guys and things? Was he talked about as a defensive coordinator candidate?
Yeah, not so much.
I thought it was just internally, it felt like it was just Joe Witt Jr. I didn't really get the inkling Aiden Durde really made any big tractions there.
Yeah. February 10th, Saad, the moment you've been waiting for, CD goes on Micah's podcast and responds to what his mom said on Facebook, because his mom said that Dak isn't it on a Facebook post. And then they were making other comments about how the Cowboys need to get rid of him. saying that C.J. Stroud would love a guy like CeeDee Lamb. That'd be a great place to go to Houston down there. So that was pretty funny. The great thing about that podcast, though, is that CeeDee Lamb is eating a bowl of pasta while doing the podcast.
I was going to say $10 to whoever could name the dish he was eating.
10 out of 10.
I do not remember the dish. I know he was eating something. Pasta.
No notes. Pasta on a podcast. Perfection, CD. You deserved every penny you get and every penne that you had with that pasta.
It's funny you say that she said that he ain't, that Dak ain't it, because it just makes me think of just being a sports fan and how quickly we sit there and move on for everything. Like, my brother and I will text quite often about college football, and it's so much like, yeah, that quarterback ain't the guy. Nope, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. Like, I watched one game of Florida State. Yeah, DJ Ungalele, he's not the guy. Move on. Like, it's like you just move on. And so just look at it from the other perspective. So how many fans are out there? College football, pro football, they're like, yeah, no, we got our guy.
Yeah. No.
Against such a small percentage. There's people in Buffalo that don't think Josh Allen's the guy. I always say this, and I understand that it's a very small percentage, but I'm telling you, there are some people that, not right now because they're coming off winning the Super Bowl, but there'll be like a stretch where the Chiefs lose a game or don't look, and there'll be some people in the parking lot in Kansas City going, I don't know, man, about Mahomes. Like, sometimes, I don't know, like, have we already seen the best of him? Like, is he going to get any better? Is this just kind of what we got to deal with now? Like, I don't know. Like, and I'm not saying it, but there's so few people that are like, no, we got our guy. We got our guy. We're good. We're good. I mean, you're a Packers fan. I mean, how many years did you say that about Aaron Rodgers, where you were like, 100%, he is our guy? Because coming from somebody that grew up in Detroit with the line, like, Aaron Rodgers is no question the guy the entire time he's there, but there's no way that Green Bay fans felt that way. Him, Brett Favre, both. It's like, yeah, he's not the guy. Time to move on.
Time to move on.
Like,
at the end.
There's so few people that are happy with, and it's especially at the quarterback position.
It works out too. I mean, people work hard on Romo,
Yeah.
at the end,
I'll tell you, like, even with the greatest, like Tom Brady after 08, people were like, well, like, Castle did take them to 11 wins and that. And then in 2014 or 2012, whatever, 2013, they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo in the second round. And there were a lot of Patriots fans. Well, like, if you just like trade Brady, get a haul, give it to Jimmy, and let's roll with that. Like, and John's absolutely right. There is a lot of that, no matter who your guy is.
February 13th, right before Valentine's Day, Stephon Gilmore says the Cowboys are his preferred destination and that he wants to come back. He did not get a contract until about a month ago. And that's
You're playing some deep cuts here, man.
I'm playing deep cuts.
You really did some digging. My hat's off.
March 1st, Jerry says that your version of All In might be different than his version of All In.
No, maybe, huh, bud? Maybe.
March is pretty nuts, too. March 4th, it's reported that Dak and his girlfriend Sarah had their first child. All right? And that was a week we'll always remember because Luca had his first child that week, or at least it was announced to public.
We will always remember. I mean,
Never
always.
Forget. Never.
How would you forget this stuff? Always will remember that.
Hashtag
Oh
never
man,
forget.
I'll remember exactly where I was sitting when I saw that tweet. Man, you just don't forget things like that.
I was at Arapahoe and Coit when I learned of the news. I was in my car. I remember I had to go to the store. I had to get some bell peppers for a bit of a delicious dish I was making at home.
Remember the intersection? That's
I remember the
impressive.
grocery list.
Wow.
Please seek help.
I'm OCD. I got to scold Kent for a minute. Don't issue a joke in the private chat box that only us four can see. If you have a good pasta CeeDee Lamb joke, you need to issue it.
I said he was eating baked CeeDee. Or he was baked CeeDee. One of the two.
March 10th, division foe Fletcher Cox retires. So things should be easier. March 11th, Tony Pollard signs a 3-year, $24 million deal with the Titans. $8 million to Tony Pollard. Tyjae Spears will technically be their starter, probably, but they're going to split. Interesting.
I will say, like, as much as we question the run game, and rightfully so, like, I do think going into the season, it's one of the top two concerns for the team. I would look at the running back situation in a lot more frustrating fashion if Tony Pollard was coming into this season as the Cowboys starting running back for $8 million a year. I think that would be a lot more frustrating.
March 11th, Eagles signed Saquon Barkley, 3 years, $38 million. Dorrance Armstrong to the Commanders, 3 at 33. Dante Fowler to the Commanders, 1 at 3. I'm clearly doing free agency timeline part. Neville Gallimore.
Like, what are you looking at right now? Like, how massive is this board with all these deep cuts? What are you looking at? Break it down for the listener.
The entire timeline.
But is it a TV monitor? Like, the thing that you're looking at looks like it's massive. Looks like it covers the entire wall. Like, it looks like it's the Cowboys draft room board.
Yeah, it kind of
Breaking
is.
Bad.
It's hard to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Give him a little setup there.
I don't know. Like, if people can't see you, like, your eyes have been going like up and down. Where I'm just like, was this his entire wall right now?
Nah, I've always got another
moving
computer
pieces
screen
around. Like, how long did it take you with this?
Yeah, there's screens.
With this command center setup you got here.
it's pretty badass.
Mega desk.
Let's see.
I mean, my God.
Eric Kendricks, he's here. Jordan Lewis resigned. No one talked about it that much. Ravens got Derrick Henry, but that's the day Ravens, March 14th, Ravens, Derrick Henry says he never heard from the Cowboys. And then a bunch of Cowboys punched their fans, just hit their desk.
What was the number on that?
I don't remember.
Side doing on that one? Would you feel better about the running game with that?
Derrick Henry, again, depends on the number. I mean, I would feel better with Derrick Henry or Tony Pollard from a sheer player standpoint. Tony Pollard, I think, is a fine back, but for $8 million, like I'd rather have the entire running back room they have right now at $4.1 million than Tony Pollard at $8 million.
2 for 16.
Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. I'm fine with the way it is right now. Then on that.
Yeah, I think I am too.
All right. Well, we'll revisit this in a few weeks when they're averaging 65 rushing yards per game.
March 18th. 2 bits of Cowboys news. Leighton Vander Esch announces his retirement. Tyron Smith signs a 1-year, $6.5 million deal with the Jets. Would you have kept Tyron for $6.5 million?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, me too. I will say, though, the whole going up to possibly 19, 20 million with like escalators in his contract and stuff like that, like he meets certain thresholds. That's a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I'm still doing it. And I still take Guyton as the heir apparent, but I would want another year, especially if this is your quote unquote all in year. I still would want another year of Tyron Smith.
Yeah, and whether you draft Guyton or not, remember, like this. First of all, this is before the draft, but secondly, like you can still draft Guyton, and you don't know, like, what if Guyton has given all the good vibes throughout camp and preseason, but that's no guarantee in your early 20s when you're picking in the early 20s. So I would have definitely signed Tyron Smith.
We've talked about this a little bit. March 26th, NFL makes major changes to the kickoff rules, which we didn't learn much in preseason, I think, but I do think it's going to work out. I think like the NFL intended. I think return rate will go up. I still think you'll see plenty of touchbacks and things like that. I actually don't think right now they're going to be at the point where they have to default into, well, we're going to move the touchback up to the 35-yard line. I don't think they're even going to have to threaten that. I think teams are going to figure out how to cover this thing. And I think you'll have some special teams do some cool things.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see more than what we've seen in the preseason. I think teams have been pretty good about limiting what you see to the point where I almost wonder if, we had talked when the roster got cut down about, Deuce Vaughn being on the bubble and stuff like that. What if he was never on the bubble with them because they've always considered him part of that? Because think about this, you hear a Kevontae Turpin or a John Fossil talk about this new kickoff rule, and both have said things along the lines of, yeah, but we know if Kevontae takes a couple to the house early, it's done. They're just going to put it through the end zone. That's fine. They'll live with it. They're not going to give him a chance again. If you had something up your sleeve that you were going to work on with Turpin and Deuce Vaughn, there's no reason you would show that during the preseason or 2 practices against the Rams or even practices open to reporters. Like, you wouldn't do that because you know that if this thing works, it's not like it's, we got this play, we just run this all season. No, once this works, you better use it at the right time. Don't waste it. Don't waste it at SoFi Stadium in your first preseason game. Much like Kevontae Turpin's, kick returns that he had early, those preseason ones during his rookie season. Like I am a person that I'm so bored with the kickoff that I'm fascinated, and I hope that what I'm saying happens, that we see some stuff, not just from the Cowboys, but other teams in the league. Where you're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I didn't expect them to use this player in this role or something like that. I just wonder how much Deuce Vaughn is going to factor in all of that. And if he is a big factor in that, then I don't believe he was ever on the bubble.
That 60 seconds you just gave on the kickoff is exactly why I love it. You just talked about a cat and mouse strategy that we haven't talked about in the kickoff in years. So, yes. April 11th, guys, on our Cowboys offseason timeline review, April 11th, O.J. Simpson dead at 76.
Yours truly.
Hey, Twitter world. April 17th, the Cowboys go ahead and sign Royce Freeman and Chuma Edoga. How's Chuma doing? Do we have anything on Chuma? What are we expecting with him?
Him to go to IR with the ability to return later in the season. I don't know. 6
weeks now, something like that.
The team probably views it as him missing half the season. Jerry probably thinks it's 2 weeks, but probably somewhere in the middle.
April 25th, Cowboys trade back, and then they get Tyler Guyton at pick 29. The next day, of course, they take Marshawn Nealon, and then you get Cooper Beebe. Boy, is this draft class looking 10 times better than last year's draft class right now. In terms of immediate help.
I put it to you this way, like, and I'm interested to hear what Saad says about this as well. But the way I look at it is, if you told me I couldn't watch the draft, I couldn't know who the Cowboys picked. I wouldn't be allowed to follow the NFL during the offseason. But I showed up to training camp, and all I had was jersey numbers. I don't know these players' names or anything like that. I'm telling you right now, like, Guyton stands out, Beebe stands out, Marshawn Nealon stands out, Kalen Carson stands out.
Yeah, and I would say if you're including the preseason in this and not just camp practices, then Maris Leofau stands out too. So
yeah.
So I think like, and those are like,
and as camp had gone on and into the preseason, I think that you could say the same thing about Flournoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
or Flournoy. Flournoy.
April 30th.
It seems like one. Not to take a shot at the Cowboys here, but his name seems like a no doubter needs to be on the pronunciation thing, and is not. Like the R is silent. Like it's
at
like
SoFi,
Flournoy.
At SoFi, they were saying it flower nye or something in the press box. It was really weird.
How do you do? Do we know? We still none of us know.
It's like Flournoy. There's like
Flournoy.
no R, no U, just extra letters in there.
Press box announcers, I think it's a mandate to get something wrong.
Yeah.
They always butcher the names for some reason. It's like, dude, you have one job. It's to say the names.
Poor guys.
April 30th, we close out the month with 2 bits of Cowboys news. Cowboys former wide receiver Michael Gallup signs with the Raiders, and then Cowboys signed Ezekiel Elliott on April 30th. So they got ahead of it. This wasn't some right before camp. Our running back room's not great. This was, he's our guy. We're already kind of paying him anyways. So come on in. April 30th. When I was going through this, I was kind of in my head. I was like, hey, it was like a June or July. No, April 30th. Like were cool with Zeke the whole time. And then bubble wrap him in the preseason. No carries for Zeke. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was after one of those. Was it after day 1 or 2 of the draft where Jerry talked about, like, like outside the press room, he talked about how just go look at his New England year. Like, he was so great at the end of the year, and he was not. But yeah, that lines up with that timeline.
There's a saying that Jerry has said several times that I've heard, at least over the last 10, 15 years. And that's, if you've seen them do it before, they can do it again. And he says that a lot about players, and I just really get that vibe about the Cowboys running back room right now, that he must really be like, oh, no. I've seen Zeke do it before. I've seen Dalvin Cook do it before. They can do it again.
2016 was almost a decade ago at this point.
Yeah, did it before. You do it again.
May 8th, Cowboys decided to part ways with wide receiver Martavis Bryant, who had a touchdown in the preseason and then was cut the day after by the Commandeers. May 21st, CeeDee Lamb, a no-show at Cowboys OTAs. We don't really need to include that on this timeline anymore because we all know that it played out well. June 3rd, Larry Allen passes away. A sad one right there in Cowboys country. One of the greats. Maybe an argument to be made, the greatest Dallas Cowboy of all time. Absolutely. June 28th, Malik Hooker has some comments on the Keyshawn Johnson podcast. Micah had a big rebuttal that ended up being deleted. Get that sorted out. I think we're all good now, right? Probably fine.
I'm just wondering if the Wizard of Oz is willing to pull back the curtain and tell us, how did you track all of these things?
Well, I would say you played a part in that unknowingly. Okay. Just searching all the articles that you and Sod had done and using some other databases and just kind of going through. And if something caught my eye, I'd put it in there.
You're on the screws here.
Yeah.
I thought you'd forget the OJ death, but you had it in there.
Yeah, I got OJ.
You're on this thing.
So I usually do this for just like current events in general, so at the end of the year, so you'll forget that, can you believe this happened? Remember the Leaning Tower of Dallas? Oh, I forgot that happened. That was crazy. I'm just saying, they're fun things to remember. That. Yeah. Grand Prairie Cobra was one of my favorite ones. You guys remember that? The big snake that got out and it was venomous and then the media turned their back on reporting it. So I do that at the end of the year. So I like timelines. They help me remember things I might have forgotten. July 4th, John, can you predict what happened on July 4th that took the world by storm in the world of Cowboy land?
Oh, Cowboys related. I thought maybe it was a firework incident.
I tie these two together. I actually won't forget this.
July 4th. Man.
Photo. A photo.
Dak's ankle.
Dak's boot.
July 4th.
Bootgate.
Mexico. Photo of Dak in a walking boot surfaces.
That's what I'm telling you, man. CD said that when we talked to him the first day after he signed, talking about how, man, there were times where I drove by the Star and I wanted to go inside, but I just couldn't do it. So I just went across the street to a restaurant. I'm just like, I can't believe he even did that. Because how easily someone could just take a picture and post that, like the Bootgate, and be like, oh, CD must be about to sign. He's at D. Lincoln's. You know what I'm saying? I'm really surprised that there was none of that.
Yeah, it kind of went away pretty quick, but he still had to, release he had to say something pretty quick, a couple days after, which you're probably thinking, I don't have to do that in the summer, but whatever. Another sad one.
I think your boy Aaron Rodgers would have just dragged that thing out.
Oh my!
He would have got a month of content off that about the boot and everything like that. He'd walk out to one of those practices during training camp, carrying the boot and just throwing it on the sideline, hey, maybe I might need it, I might not. He would have played that thing up so much.
There's no doubt. And hey, not my boy, right? Aaron Rodgers, not my boy.
sorry. We're
in the house of love now.
Your previous friend. Do you have any interest in reading that entire book?
I'm absolutely going to read it.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested as well. I don't think I would. I don't think I would without the McCarthy connection, though. If we're being honest, I think the McCarthy. Well, okay.
I gotta get through this one first.
Get through the Matthew Perry biography.
Once I get through that, we'll get on to Aaron Rodgers.
Have you even started that yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You do have a lot of leather-bound books behind you there. You were very well read.
Did I ever give you guys the Office book?
Whoa.
That's a great book. The oral history.
Oral history of the Office.
I've seen the ebook of that. Yeah.
One of the greatest books you'll ever read. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think when you guys have talked about in previous shows about how we're going to do a bet payoff at the end of the season, I think the bet payoff is the loser has to do ayahuasca and then report back.
Oh, John. We're still waiting for you to
I will consider
spicy food.
You know what scares me about it is I wouldn't want to take it and then like a couple days later, I'm just like, you know what? I just have this whole new outlook on life, and sports don't even really matter.
Yeah.
What am I even doing with my life? Covering this, it's entertainment. I need to do more with my life. And then a week after that, boom, I'm done. I don't even cover. You guys never hear of me again. I shut down my Twitter account.
You're in the Peace Corps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'd turn into an asshole. So I was like, is ayahuasca for you? Because like you.
Why did anybody turn into an asshole that took it?
Well, this is the thing, the whole peace and mindful thing, and I am stealing. I will admit, I'm stealing this line from our buddy Jeff Kavanaugh. But one thing he says, it's like you, the peaceful, mindful, mental health guy. You say all the right things, and then on the sideline, you're snapping at your receivers. It's like,
that is true.
You're not at peace, buddy.
Yeah,
you're just not. You're fake.
I am interested, though. I'm intrigued by the. If I lose, I'll consider it.
July 11th.
Just do it. It sounds like you want to do it. That's not a punishment if you want to do it.
No, I don't want to come out of this thing hating sports and thinking they don't matter because it represents 99% of my life.
I don't want to have to do ayahuasca because I didn't get it right that Bruno Mars was the Super Bowl halftime show. Okay, it's like because they ran Dolly Parton out at Thanksgiving halftime show. I don't want that to be the reason I have to do something terrible, but that's what we do.
Yeah,
actually, one star.
We should, yeah.
Okay, July 11th. Bit of sad news here. Former DC Monty Kiffin passed away. The July 23rd, Michael Gallup retires. I wasn't expecting that. But good for him. Get out, man. July 28th, Sam Williams leaves practice, and it's a torn ACL out for the year. We're getting to more recent events clearly here as we head to the month of August. Cowboys trade Nashon Wright for Andrew Booth, who makes the team for now. We'll see what happens when we get Deron Bland back. August 13th, Tavon Austin retires, which makes me feel old. August 14th.
Did you know he was still playing football?
I did not.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
One of the best college football players, though. Just awesome.
Yeah, of the last 20-some years, sure.
Yeah.
A big day for Jerry on August 14th, guys. Sportico values the Cowboys at $10 billion.
Which is, I think, very under. But yeah, go on.
Oh, you think it's under?
I think the Dallas Cowboys are very much like Dak going to free agency.
Sky's the limit.
There's no way that team sells for under $15 billion, $20 billion. If Jerry is like, I'm putting that on the open market, you think he's going to get, okay, hold on here.
$20 billion?
Okay, look at all of the other teams that have sold, what they've sold for in all sports and what it compares to on whatever the website is that says what their valuation is.
Well, it depends on what's included.
The Commanders sold for more. The Clippers. I mean, we're not even talking about a Lakers, Yankees, Cowboys. There's going to be somebody that extremely overpays for probably the most visible sports franchise in the world.
Yeah.
Why does that survey come out every week? Every other week, I see headlines of Cowboys.
Because it gets a lot of traction online. It's the same reason. I'll give you
we know.
I can tie it into football. There's like memes during the season of some of those national TV shows that will literally be like every week re-ranking like the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. And as dumb as it sounds, like it gets people to look at it because it's so controversial, the quarterback position. So that's why you see it, is because people are intrigued by it as much as they might hate it. They're intrigued by it.
August 14th, Cowboys acquired Jordan Phillips.
I mean, why are people with cameras still following around Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez?
I know, right?
I guess, but like
what are we
that's
doing?
Weird.
Every year they're trying to break news saying that Manchester United, the Yankees, and the Cowboys are worth a ton of money.
That's a weird one for sure. August 14th, Sportico values the Cowboys. Oh, I'm sorry, I already read that. The Cowboys acquired Jordan Phillips from the Giants on August 14th. Come back the next day, August 15th, they signed Carl Lawson. Everyone thinks the defense is fixed. There are no more concerns on defense. Oh yeah, August 15th. John, do you remember when Albert Huggins pushed down the Rams equipment intern at the joint team practice? Where were you and Saad when that happened?
I do. We were standing pretty close to it. Assad actually ran out there and helped the staffer up. And the rest of the coaches and players yelled at Albert Huggins, and he was put in timeout for the rest of practice. And yeah, you just don't forget stuff like that.
No, you
Poor staffer.
I'll never will. That's another where were you? It's like when
the most interesting part of that video is like, and this is because the staffer was okay. There was no injuries or anything like that. But the most interesting part is the way Huggins is running back to like the Cowboys side of the line, and nobody is going to like help him. Like it was like one of those things where you're just like, it would be like you knock down a hornet's nest and you go run inside and slam the door and you're like, ha ha, I got those hornets. And all the hornets are inside because there's nothing stopping them at all. It was like nothing, nobody got in the way, anything. It was just like, dude, what are you doing? Why did you throw that guy down? It's a simple pass rushing drill.
Was that your biggest highlight video from training camp? Like just in terms of like clicks and stuff? Better than any highlight? Because it's up there for me of when Dez fought Tyler Patman at practice of like big moments in Cowboys history.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, it probably is, but I will say that the other things are the unfortunate ones that get a lot of traction. That's like, Sam Williams leaving the field. Anytime there's a star player that like goes out of the, a practice, like I remember when Kellen Moore got carted off in 2016, like, there's just a lot of traction because of the fact that you're posting it right away and
people want to know.
There's not a lot of people at training camp, to see it and stuff like that. But yeah, there just weren't that as many highlights because, well, one, CeeDee Lamb wasn't there, and so
yeah,
probably.
August 19th, Randy Gregory released by the Bucs after failing to go to training camp. August 20th, Stephon Gilmore joins the Vikings. We're almost done here, guys. August 21st, a fire at the Cowboys facility in Oxnard. They truly are the Cowboys. They're the most unique I've ever seen. It's
again,
shocking.
Just like the Ram staffer, Saad was quick on the scene. He grabbed a hose. And I don't know if that thing even gets contained if it isn't for Saad's work around there. So
I will say the most shocking.
KT.
Thing, yeah,
I'm surprised at how comprehensive your list is. You missed one of the big ones.
Oh no,
you did. August 8th. You talk about John's numbers, tweets doing numbers. August 8th, the first joint practice of the Rams. We talked to Jerry afterwards.
LOL.
And LOL.
Yep. I didn't
Missed
leave that
that one.
out somehow. How did I miss that? God, that bums me out. I'm a completist.
Sorry, I just wanted, I just said, and really the only reason I remember that, because everything runs together in terms of when it happened. But when you talked about John's tweets doing numbers, I was like, yeah, that tweet right there,
August 21st, Cowboys add Linval Joseph. The 24th, Deron Bland out 4 to 6 weeks with the stress fracture. CeeDee Lamb signs on the 26th, and then the game of chicken with Jerry and Dak heats up August 29th. And here we are on September 1st, 1 week to go. We will have our season predictions episode coming soon. This week, we will have the Cowboys-Browns Week 1 game preview episode for you later in the week as well. So buckle up. It's go time.
Get ready for Patreon.
With all those moves, I just wanted to add in there real quick that when you look at the totality of what they've done in the offseason, obviously a team that didn't do much in March, like it doesn't really look that bad with how they've, I tweeted this out with like how they've replaced guys. Like you replace Tyron Smith with Tyler Guyton. You replace Pollard with Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook. It's not great, but if that happens in March, I don't know that, people probably take it a little bit better. I still would rather have Tony Pollard, but Leighton Vander Esch is replaced by Eric Kendricks. Stephon Gilmore by Kalen Carson. Jonathan Hankins is replaced by Linval Joseph. Neville Gallimore with Jordan Phillips. Dorrance Armstrong with Marshawn Nealon. And Biotish with BB. And then you could really even say Carl Lawson is the one that replaces Dante Fowler. And so I still believe last year's roster is better than this one, but they have done a good job of closing some of those gaps, I feel.
Yeah, you know what? I saw a chart the other day too, and I forgot it was one of those, contract websites. Might have been Spotrac, I'm not sure, where they were showing how teams divide up their money with low, middle, high paid, and then elite paid players, and then dead money. And you look at the chart, and I go, they kind of look like every other team. There's a couple categories that may jump out, but there's nothing crazy in there. And I often think this. I think there's not as much to bitch about with the Cowboys as maybe we or the fan base thinks sometimes. Like 3 straight 12-win seasons. There are half the league who would kill for that, just to experience playoff football. You know?
Yeah, but KT, my counter argument to that would be like when you hold yourself to that standard, when you hold yourself to that, like, this is what you are, then like you're talked about like it's not really fair, in my opinion, to compare the Cowboys to the Jaguars, because the Cowboys, whether they would never outwardly do this, but they would scoff at the Jaguars. It's like, you're putting us in line with the Jaguars. Like, they want to be in line with the Patriots, the dynasty Patriots and the 49ers and the Chiefs. Well, then you're going to be judged by that. And like, I agree with you, like more than half the league would want their success. But in terms of the tier that they suppose themselves to be in, they're at the bottom of that. They're at the bottom of that tier. So I think that is kind of where, you know, the fan base, when Jerry talks about being all in, wants to win more than anything, I'd buy a Super Bowl if I could, all that. By that standard, they're at the bottom. So of that tier. So that, I think that's partially the thing.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and also I think, just going back, I was like thinking about it throughout the pod, but like I still wouldn't take Tony Pollard for that contract over this, but I think I'd take Derrick Henry. I think for a guy that's been a bell cow, like Tony Pollard didn't show that he can be a bell cow lead back. And I know Derrick Henry's a little over the hill and everything like that, but I think I'd take 2 for $16 for Derrick Henry. I think I'd take that over what they have right now. If you said no Zeke, no Dalvin Cook, and you have Derrick Henry, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn, I'm down with that. But I'm out on Tony Pollard. But yeah,
Derrick Henry or the Tyron Smith.
Looking at it in hindsight,
No. It's March.
Oh, Tyron Smith.
Yeah, real quick, and if this is just from our Discord, got 3 questions. We got people jumping into questions. Got a couple questions we picked out for you. You guys cool with answering those real quick?
Yep.
LKC Light says, if they were to bring up Dalvin Cook to line up, whose spot would he take? The 53rd player on the roster. If they were to bring him up, I'm assuming he's meaning next week's game. Is that Deuce Vaughn? Is it? Probably not.
No, I mean, to me,
Ezekiel
like
Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook is the Zeke replacement. I feel like if Zeke falters, that's where or if there's an injury.
You cannot have Ezekiel Elliott and Dalvin Cook both active. Neither of them contributes.
That's
on special
not what
teams.
the fans want to hear, probably.
I don't see how you can have them both active at the same time.
Green Corey asked if
with Lipke and Vaughn and Dowdle.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, how many running backs are you going to have active on Sunday?
I mean, I think you don't have to have 4 tight ends personally, but we could figure that out.
A shot at Luke Schoonmaker.
It's not at Schoon. It's probably at Ford. It's Span Ford.
Okay.
I mean, has anyone done less to get a spot? I'm saying, like in camp. Yes, and the answer is Zeke. Green Corey, if the Cowboys do prove it this season, does McCarthy stay or does he walk away for the right opportunity? A good payday and a less meddlesome front office. That's interesting to me.
Is it weird to y'all that he's playing without an extension? Or he's coaching without an extension?
It's very weird to me. He could leave. No matter what happens, he could leave. Like, another team could just go get him.
Right.
Like, would he? Yeah. I don't think he would. I think he can bitch about that behind the scenes or whatever. I don't know. But he's probably annoyed by the Jones thing. But I think McCarthy loves it here.
I'll tell you what, for me, and John can attest to this because we've talked about this a lot throughout camp and everything. I think we all talk. I mean, we put these 2 pieces together, the Dak and McCarthy thing. If Dak doesn't come back, I think that increases the chances. And I know that decision is in March, but Mike and Dak can talk in January or February as well. I think if Dak is on his way out, I think Mike would leave if the situation, if a better situation presented itself, because he talks so much about his system being about the quarterback and about making the quarterback successful and all that stuff. And he comes from a situation where he's literally like his entire career, he broke in with Joe Montana in Kansas City. He brought Aaron Brooks up in New Orleans and had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Like, I feel like if he had to go into some obscure quarterback situation in Dallas, I think if a better opportunity financially, and then you weigh the front office involvement and all that stuff, it wouldn't surprise me then if he chose to leave.
And that's tough because even if Jerry came to him and said, yeah, we're going to draft a quarterback in the second or third round, we're going to have Kellen Moore. We're going to have Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, and he offered him a new 5-year deal. I think McCarthy stays in Dallas.
I think so too. But I just had, in my head, I conjured up something. Cowboys win the division 12-5. Eagles 10-7, but bubble team, maybe they're 9-6. Sirianni's out. The Eagles could be a team, even though they have Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. The Eagles would be a team I could see that would be a job that McCarthy would like. And I know I'm talking about Pennsylvania, man.
Yeah, but don't they seem like a team that would be looking for like Ben Johnson or like, I don't know, I just feel like the way Howie Roseman runs it, it's different than Jerry. Where Jerry's more likely, if Mike McCarthy didn't work out and had, let's say, another 12-win season and all this had been happening in Philadelphia, Jerry Jones is more likely to hire Mike McCarthy from Philadelphia than other way around. I think Howie would go for a coach that doesn't have any head coaching experience.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for asking the questions. Follow us on the Discord as well, where you can chat. We've always got lots of different things, Cowboys news, rumors, fantasy football talk. There's cards and collectibles, section. There's the in-game chat, which I assume will be
Get ready for that. Yeah,
pretty lit next Sunday.
Get in Discord just for the chat next game day. It's going to be great.
We'll have a good time in there, and we'll take your questions for the podcast as well. A couple more podcasts coming this week. Again, the predictions episode, which is always fun. It's probably my favorite one that we do of the year. And then the Cowboys-Browns preview a little later in the week as we get you all ready. So, well, thank you for listening to us. Like, subscribe, follow Apple and Spotify is where you can find us, the One Star Cowboys podcast. Give us a 5-star review if you would as well. That always helps. It helps the algorithms a little bit. Follow Father John Machota. Follow Saad Youssef. Follow our friend Kenton Garrison as well. And you can follow me at KT Fun Tweets. Kevin Turner. We will see you next time on the One Star Cowboys podcast.
All options are open. I think what we've got in camp has the potential to be the answer.
All right, remember, the machine knows if you're lying. First statement, Carvana will give you a real offer on your car all online.
False.
True, actually. You can sell your car in minutes.
False? That's gotta be...
True again. Carvana will pick up your car from your door, or you can drop it off at one of their car vending machines.
Sounds too good to be true, so true.
Finally caught on. Nice job. Honesty isn't just their policy, it's their entire model. Sell your car today, too.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.